Coming up today on Ignite News, Mohawk College has a plan to battle the low retention rate.
So it's a 5-point student success plan that's going to guide the college's initiatives to help more students graduate.
And the decision to tear down part of the James Street Baptist Church has been tabled for now. That and more coming up on Ignite News.
Good morning and welcome to your Ignite News for Wednesday, October 16th. I'm Kyler Sanderson.
And I'm Brittany Medeiros. Here's what's making news. You may be paying even more to take a ride in a taxi. Hamilton's council will vote next Wednesday to increase prices to help cabbies deal with skyrocketing insurance. The council will be adding 70 cents to the pickup rate paid by customers. However, long-distance cab riders will benefit from a proposed 2-cent cut in the per-kilometer rate to $80. As of Tuesday, councilors learned that 18 taxi drivers turned in their plates this year as a result of high insurance and rising gas prices.
Governor General David Johnston will present what is likely to be the last throne speech before the 2015 election. People are expecting Prime Minister Harper to use the speech to try to take the focus off recent scandals. Prime Minister Harper has been faced with almost a year of allegations of overexpenses that are currently under investigation. CBC will air the speech today at 4:30.
Following the potential announcements from the throne, we asked you, Mohawk, do you think your wireless rates are too high?
I pay way too much for my cell phone. Rogers, they always seem to screw me over. Every month it's something different, $60, $100, $200 even sometimes.
I find my cell phone bills rather nice. I only pay $92.66 and I get unlimited long distance anywhere in Canada. I get unlimited call and texting at any time. I find it's all quite nice.
The pay as you go, so I'm not charged for anything and I'm on a pretty good plan.
Because I just pay like $25 and I get unlimited messages, so.
It's ridiculous.
I think it's reasonable. I get a lot out of my phone for it.
iPod, iMessage still works, man.
Last week, Mohawk celebrated Aboriginal Awareness. I had a chance to be there and check out the celebration.
Students got an up-close look at Aboriginal culture outside the H-Wing.
Okay, well, today's powwow is really part of the Aboriginal Awareness Week, this week at Mohawk College. There are approximately 436 self-ID'd Aboriginal students. My guesstimate would be that there's between a third and two-thirds more than that.
Aaron Bell hosted the powwow at Mohawk. His goal was to educate the rest of the student body.
A lot of the post-secondary Aboriginal students have to deal with the stereotype of alcoholism, homelessness. A lot of them don't have a lot of understanding about what Aboriginal people do and who we are. And why we did this today is to introduce them to our culture in a good and open way. We treat our audiences as new learners. So when we use humor, it engages them, and we use association as well with modern day things so they can feel connected to us. If you can make somebody smile, they're going to be waiting for you to make them smile again. So in between those two times when you can make them smile, that's when you can slip in teachings and they don't even know they're being taught.
I thought a lot of people really wanted to be a part of the whole powwow and group because they made you feel that way.
I know that in the last year, social inclusion has been a real big focus for our office, the Aboriginal office, as well as the college in general. And currently we're developing an Indigenous education plan that will make that much more attractive to Aboriginal students from all over this territory.
Powwows like this one are designed to celebrate Aboriginal heritage and dismantle stereotypes. For Ignite News, I'm Kyler Sanderson.
Hamilton's rich are getting richer, while the rest of the city's residents are at a standstill, according to the new numbers on income distribution. A new report from the Social Planning and Research Council shows that people who make more than $400,000 have increased by 47% since 1982. While the other 90% of the people who average around $31,000 are only making 2% more than they were in 1982. Today, the Council will host a public forum on jobs, inequality, and the future of Ontario at the Lincoln Alexander Centre.
The death toll from a powerful earthquake that shook the Philippines has risen to 144, with nearly 300 people injured. The quake struck Tuesday morning and was centered about 32 miles underground on the island of Bohol. Tuesday was a national holiday in the Philippines, which meant that some of the most damaged structures were empty during the quake, saving many lives.
There is a worrisome trend concerning the retention rate of Ontario colleges, but Mohawk has implemented a 5-point plan. For that story, we hear from Ignite News reporter Casey Wren.
A shocking number of college students are dropping out. About 1/3 will not stay to complete their programs. Wayne Poirier, Vice President of Student Services, helped develop a plan to raise the number of graduates.
So it's a 5-point student success plan that's going to guide the college's initiatives to help more students graduate at the end of their college experience.
This plan is an important one not only for Mohawk, but for the government as well.
The government has set targets that over 70% of Ontarians get a post-secondary education, and currently our graduation rates are about 64%. So we want to help more students that start their journey be successful at completing their journey through to graduation.
Individually, the plan will hopefully help each student finish college and get the full value of what they paid for their education.
If the student has the ability to finish their education, we want to make sure that it's for extraordinary circumstances that they don't finish, and that they have every support on campus to make sure that they're able to complete their journey.
The plan can be accessed on the college website under About Mohawk at the bottom of the page. Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Casey Wren.
The city has postponed the redevelopment of the historic James Street Baptist Church. Ignite News reporter Rachel Williams has the story.
The James Street Baptist Church lives to see another day. On October 9th, the Municipal Heritage Permit Review Subcommittee met at City Hall to discuss the fate of one of Hamilton's most iconic churches. In attendance was the developer, representatives from McCallum Sather Architects, and an audience of close to 20. Jason Farr, Ward 2 councillor and member of the city's Municipal Heritage Committee, was responsible for moving the meeting to council chambers.
It would be best to have it in a public forum, in a public setting, to allow the public to join in. It's great to see that kind of support for a real landmark in our downtown.
After 2.5 hours, the subcommittee chose to table the verdict on demolition until later this month. Built in 1878, the Gothic-style cathedral was designated a heritage building under the Ontario Heritage Act. The developer, who bought the property in June for $610,000, wants 80% of the building demolished. The structure is crumbling, but the City and Heritage Committee want to find out more before they approve it to be torn down.
Obviously, there's, with that heritage designation, there's a process and there's policies in place, and that's playing out as we speak.
The developer wants to keep the front portion of the church and add a multi-use building behind the facade. Mayoral hopeful Brian McCaddy understands the structural dilemmas, but hopes that the architecture will remain intact.
I think heritage buildings in any city really define a city. It gives a city character. So the wonderful downtown, we have all the historical buildings, the Lister Block, the Gore District, all the historic churches that we have. That really provides the essence of a city.
For now, the church survives, but it's only a matter of time before City Council decides whether or not it's going to face the wrecking ball. Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Rachel Williams.
That's all we have for you in news. Chris Luckett in Entertainment has an update on who will be hosting the Golden Globes this year. But before we get to him, let's take a look at what's also coming up in sports and weather.
It's looking a little bit rainy outside this morning, and unfortunately the rain's not going away anytime soon. I've got your full week forecast coming up on Ignite Weather.
Coming up in sports, the Leafs take the #1 spot in the Eastern Conference, and Mohawk's women's varsity soccer team faces off against Conestoga in their first postseason game.
Casting is underway for Jurassic Park 4, and Tina Fey and Amy Poehler will be hosting the Golden Globes for another 2 years. Those stories and more are coming up on Entertainment.
Now let's take it to Chris in Entertainment.
Thanks, Kyler. Casting for the 4th Jurassic Park movie is getting underway. In addition to current cast member Bryce Dallas Howard, 2 more additions have been made to the production. Ty Simpkins from Iron Man 3 and the Insidious movies, and Nick Robinson from this year's The Kings of Summer. Details about the movie are being kept under wraps for now, other than the title, Jurassic World. Jurassic World is being directed by Colin Trevorrow, with Steven Spielberg producing. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are set to host the Golden Globe Awards again. After earning positive reviews and big ratings last time when they hosted the show in January, Fey and Poehler struck a deal with the Hollywood Foreign Press Association to host the show for the next 2 years. The 71st Annual Golden Globe Awards will air live on Sunday, January 12th. Now let's check out Tech Talk with James Barlow. This week, James is looking at the Mohawk radio station. James?
Thanks, Chris. Radio broadcasting students use state-of-the-art equipment every day here at Mohawk. Indy 101 broadcasts throughout the college and city, and it gives students training in a real-life environment.
You'll find that at community colleges where they have broadcasting programs and they have an FM radio station like we do here at Mohawk College, you'll find that probably the equipment at those radio stations might be a little bit superior than you might find at, let's say, a radio station at a university where they don't have broadcasting programs, where they're teaching actual broadcasting. And I think that might have something to do with the fact that at community colleges, the college will help to fund the radio station. So here at Mohawk, we use iMedia Touch, industry software, latest microphones, headphones, and all that stuff. We try and give it a real-world experience for the broadcasting students.
And the thing I love most about this program is they show you what it's really like to work in the radio industry. There's no cookie cutting around or just learning the theory of it. You actually get to go in hands-on and see what it's like to sit behind the mic and do a live radio show of your own.
So next time you're on campus, you want to hear some good music, Mohawk students, 101.5 Indy is the station to be on. This is Ignite News signing off.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has announced its nominees for this year, and half of the 16 are first-timers. Nirvana, Linda Ronstadt, Peter Gabriel, Hall & Oates, and The Replacements are among those being nominated for the very first time. Repeat nominees include Kiss, LL Cool J, NWA, and Cat Stevens. More than 600 voters will determine the class of 2014. Inductees will be announced in December, with the ceremony to follow in April. Now let's take a look at what's happening around campus.
My name is Amanda Calaberta, and here's what's coming up on your community calendar. On Thursday, iron out your favorite pink shirt and head down to the Ernie for open mic night in support of finding the cure for breast cancer. There's no cover for this event, which runs from 7 to 11 p.m. Students who are interested in getting fresh, healthy food but can't afford grocery store prices can participate in the new Good Food Box program. Boxes can be ordered for $15 to receive a box the following week containing 20 pounds of fresh fruit and vegetables. This program starts this month and will run until next April. The Hands Corn Maze off of Highway 5 in Dundas is open, so go on out and travel the Haunted Maze this Friday at 6:30. Adult admission is $11 and make sure to bring a flashlight. My name is Amanda Calaberta with Ignite News.
And The Walking Dead's huge numbers didn't hurt other shows on Sunday night. 2.6 million viewers tuned into the espionage drama Homeland, which was the show's biggest audience this season and the second largest of the series behind the season 2 finale. That's good news for Showtime, which lost their longest running show when Dexter ended its 8-year run a few weeks ago. That's a wrap for your entertainment. Time to pass it over to Teresa with sports.
Thanks, Chris. In MLB playoff action last night, it was a pitcher's duel once again in Detroit as John Lackey edged out Justin Verlander. Mike Napoli homered off Verlander in the 7th, giving Boston the 1-0 lead. Boston held on for the win and now have a hold on the ALCS up 2-1. In the NLCS, the St. Louis Cardinals are 1 win away from the World Series. Cards Matt Holliday and John Robinson homered for the first home runs of the NL Championship Series, beating the Dodgers 4-2 and taking a 3-1 series lead. Over in the NHL now, the Leafs took hold of the #1 spot in the Eastern Conference standings as they beat the Minnesota Wild 4-1 at the ACC last night. Despite being outshot 37-14, the Leafs were able to capitalize on their chances while James Reimer was superb between the pipes. The Leafs are now 6-1-0 so far this season. In other NHL action, Vancouver beat Philly 3-2. Montreal shut out Winnipeg 3-0. The The Penguins defeated the Oilers 3-2, and Ottawa topped Phoenix in OT 4-3. Over to varsity sports now. The Mohawk Mountaineers are looking to build off a perfect preseason. Ignite Sports reporter Brady Livingston has the story.
Just 2 seasons removed from their OCAA National Championship in 2012, the Mohawk Mountaineers varsity men's basketball team is off to a hot preseason start. The team has played their game to perfection, going undefeated in 10 exhibition games, including a big win over Lesete Coyotes to finish strong. Coach Brian Jonker is beginning his 10th season as Mohawk's bench boss, and Jonker is quick to point out that a good preseason is one key to a successful team.
For us, playing these games, there are a lot of teams that are on the east side, and we don't play them during the regular season, so it's a good opportunity to see the other teams on the other side. But also it gives us a great opportunity to to run through and try and gain some experience in the things that we want to do for the year.
Mohawk is not only heading into a new season on a winning note, but also with a completely healthy team.
Yeah, we're in good shape.
Unlike in pro sports like hockey and football, exhibition games have some worth in varsity basketball.
The preseason matters for a lot of different reasons. It helps with rankings at the beginning of the year. It helps maybe with seeding at the end of the year. So these games matter. I think we're ready to go.
Mohawk begins its regular season on October 23rd when they host Redeemer University at the D-Bar. Reporting for Ignite Sports, I'm Brady Livingston.
Sticking with varsity sports, Mohawk's women's soccer team traveled to Woodside Park in Kitchener for an OCAA qualifier against the Conestoga Condors. Both teams played very well, sending the scoreless game into overtime, but the Mountaineers managed to keep the energy high late in the game and dominated the midfield. Goalie Nicole Roberts made some fantastic stops throughout, and forward Rochelle DeJong created several scoring opportunities, eventually netting a goal in the first overtime. Mohawk wins 1-0 in overtime and advances to the quarterfinals this weekend. That's it for me with sports. Let's head over to Alicia for our weather forecast.
Thanks, Teresa. In Hamilton, it'll be partly cloudy with a 60% chance of rain and a high of 19. In Toronto, there is also a 60% chance of rain. However, it should be warm at 20 degrees. Over to Niagara Falls, there will also be some rain with the high of 20 degrees. London will dodge the rain and see a high of 19 and a mix of sun and cloud. Finally, in Windsor, it'll be cloudy with a chance of some sunshine and wind and a high of 18 degrees. Taking a look at the next 24 hours in Hamilton, later today into the evening it may get windy with southwest winds coming in between 30 and 50 kilometers an hour and a high of 19. Overnight it'll be partly cloudy and the wind will continue with a low of 10. Tomorrow morning the clouds will continue with a high of 15. Taking a look at the next 5 days in Hamilton, tomorrow we'll see lots of clouds and some rain beginning late in the afternoon and a high of 15. Friday will be a mix of sun and cloud before the rain begins on the weekend with a low of 7 and a high of 11. Saturday will most likely see rain with a low of 7 and a high of 11. Sunday should also rain with a low of 5 and a high of 10. And finally on Monday there is a 30% chance of rain with a low of 4 and a high of 10. That's it for me with weather. Let's head back to Brittany and Kyler at the news desk.
Now it's time for our weekly Pay It Forward feature, looking at how people in Hamilton are helping each other and the community.
The television broadcasting program at Mohawk College is a fast-paced environment with no room for stumbling. First-year students commonly run into some problems with the new equipment that Mohawk supplies.
I think what we all have to do is take stride and pace that part of the educational piece is that they're going to move at the pace they move at. And as long as they're moving forward and gaining ground, then we're doing what needs to be done with them.
Second and third year students can help support the freshmen by passing on their knowledge of the equipment.
I think Mohawk College at its best has always had a culture that the senior students help the students that are coming in. And that is probably the most important thing that we have in place for a well-rounded education for these students. Probably the people that do that best, even better than any of us as professors can do, is the peers that are just slightly above them, that understand the capacities that they went through just 1 or 2 years ago themselves.
Helping out a fellow Mohawk student can be very rewarding, not only for the students learning, but for the students teaching as well. And who knows, you might even make a friend. For Mohawk News, I'm Max Stronick.
That's all your Ignite News for Wednesday, October 16th. For more coverage, check out our website at ignitenews.ca. I'm Kyler Sanderson.
And I'm Brittany Medeiros. Thanks for watching, Mohawk.